At-home hair dye kits are something many people use, but what's really in those bottles?
News 8's Joseph Viney has the results of a Consumer Reports investigation into popular brands that contain chemicals linked to potential health risks.
In April 2026, Consumer Reports tested 23 popular at-home hair dyes. They found a probable human carcinogen in every single product they tested. Every single one. They also found benzene, a known carcinogen, inside a product being sold for children's school spirit days. The FDA has not pulled any of these products. No recall has been issued. The brands are still on shelves. I investigated 10 of the biggest US hair dye brands. 7 are on the avoid list, 3 are actually clean. And we are starting with the most alarming one first. Avoid brand 1, L'Oréal Paris. You have seen this box your entire life, in your mother's bathroom, in every CVS, on the shelf at every single airport in America. L'Oréal Paris is the #1 selling hair color brand in the United States. The brand has been telling women they are worth it since 1973. That campaign is one of the most recognized in advertising history. Worth it became shorthand for something bigger than a box dye. It became permission. Permission to spend. Permission to trust. In April 2026, Consumer Reports tested 23 popular at-home hair dyes in an independent lab. L'Oréal Paris had the highest levels of methylene chloride of any product they tested. Methylene chloride is a probable human carcinogen. It was found in every single product in the study. L'Oréal Paris topped the list. Consumer Reports called on them publicly and by name to remove toxic chemicals from their products immediately. L'Oréal Paris is also named in active litigation. A hairstylist sued the company alleging that decades of exposure to carcinogenic chemicals in their professional color lines caused his bladder cancer. Looks like a product that has been tested for your safety. Reads like the brand with the highest carcinogen levels in a 23-product investigation. Read the ingredient list on L'Oréal Paris Excellence Creme. The first 5 are water, cetearyl alcohol, ammonium hydroxide, p-phenylenediamine, and resorcinol. That is the formula. Ammonia to force the cuticle open. PPD to create the color, resorcinol to bind it. PPD is a documented skin sensitizer linked to bladder cancer in occupational studies. Resorcinol is a known endocrine disruptor. The federal government regulates resorcinol exposure in workplaces. There are no limits on the amount allowed in personal care products. For the woman who trusted the brand her mother trusted, the brand whose name felt like a promise, this is what you actually bought. The highest methylene chloride levels of 23 products tested, a probable carcinogen in every box, and a company that has not reformulated. L'Oréal Paris. Magic Root Precision Pen is the least bad option in their range. Consumer Reports found no detectable phthalates in it. It is a targeted root touch-up, not a full application, so scalp contact is minimal. If you are a current L'Oréal Paris user and not ready to switch, this is the product to move toward in the meantime. Worth it has been their slogan for 50 years. The lab said otherwise. The next brand did not put a carcinogen in an adult product. They put one in a product for children, and they packaged it with confetti. Avoid brand 2, Hally Hair. The box has confetti on it. The shades have names like Carnival and Cotton Candy. Hally Hair sells temporary hair chalk for fun occasions, school spirit day, birthday parties. The kind of product a parent buys without reading the label because it is temporary, and it is colorful, and it is for a child. Temporary felt safe. That was the entire premise. No commitment, no harsh chemicals, just color that washes out. Parents reached for it precisely because it did not feel like a real dye. It felt like face paint. It felt like fun. Consumer Reports tested 23 at-home hair dye products in an independent lab in April 2026. The only product in the entire study to contain benzene was Hally Hair. Benzene is not a possible carcinogen or a probable one. It is a known carcinogen linked to bone marrow cancer. Consumer Reports' own investigator stated it directly. The hair chalks marketed to children contained benzene, a known carcinogen. Consumer Reports is now lobbying state legislators to pass the Beauty Justice Act specifically to address benzene and other toxins in products like this one. The FDA has issued no recall. Looks like a party supply. Reads like the only product in a 23-brand investigation to contain a known carcinogen. Manufacturers of personal care products in the United States are not legally required to list every ingredient on the label. Fragrance alone can conceal dozens of undisclosed compounds. Hally Hair is not an outlier for hiding what is in the formula. They are an outlier for what the lab found when someone actually looked. For the parent who grabbed this off the shelf because temporary meant harmless, This is what you actually bought. The only product in the study with benzene, in a chalk marketed for your child's school spirit day, with confetti on the box. If your child wants temporary hair color for an event, Arctic Fox makes a semi-permanent formula, free of ammonia, peroxide, and PPD, and has not been flagged in independent lab testing. It is the safer swap for the same occasion. Temporary color, permanent carcinogen, confetti on the box. The next brand has been on bathroom shelves since your grandmother was young. It built the entire habit of home hair coloring in America, and it is now named in a bladder cancer lawsuit. Avoid brand 3, Clairol Nice and Easy. It is the box your mother kept under the bathroom sink, the one she used on a Sunday afternoon before the working week started. Clairol Nice and Easy has been in American homes since 1956. It did not just sell hair color, it made home hair coloring normal. Clairol invented the mass market for this category. Their marketing in the 1960s asked whether only her hairdresser knew for sure. It was a cultural moment. Women trusted this brand the way they trusted a family recipe. It was passed down without question. In June 2025, a California judge consolidated 12 hair dye bladder cancer lawsuits into a single proceeding. Clairol is named as a defendant. The lawsuit states directly that Clairol continues to prioritize profit over stylists and consumers' health, and that their salon dyes carry no visible warnings about the risks of prolonged exposure. The NIH sister study, which followed nearly 47,000 women, found that those who regularly used permanent hair dye were 9% more likely to develop breast cancer. Among African American women who used permanent dye every 5 to 8 weeks, that figure rose to 60%. Consumer Reports lab testing found PPD in Clairol Root Touch-Up, permanent by Nice and Easy. Looks like a family staple, reads like a defendant in an active bladder cancer lawsuit. Read the first 5 ingredients in Clairol Nice and Easy: water, cetearyl alcohol, ammonium hydroxide, p-phenylenediamine, resorcinol. That is the formula. The same aromatic amines the International Agency for Research on Cancer classifies as probable carcinogens. The same PPD that has been linked to bladder cancer in occupational studies stretching back decades. For the woman who reached for the same box her mother used because familiarity felt like safety, this is what you actually bought. A formula named in active litigation. Carcinogens the brand never disclosed. And an $8 refund offer to a woman who lost her hair. Clairol Natural Instincts is the least problematic option in their lineup. Consumer Reports found no detectable phthalates in it, and it contains no resorcinol. It is a semi-permanent formula, which means less scalp penetration than permanent dye. It is not clean. It is the least bad choice if you are not ready to leave the brand. Generational Trust, Standard Carcinogen Deck. The name changed every generation. The formula did not. The next brand markets itself with fruit oils and nourishing ingredients on the front of the box. The lab found a hormone-disrupting phthalate linked to early menopause inside it. Avoid brand 4, Garnier Nutrisse. The bottle shows grapes, sunflowers, fruit oil concentrate. Garnier Nutrisse is the box women reach for when they want something that feels more considered than basic drugstore dye. The name sounds nourishing. The imagery looks organic. The whole thing is designed to feel like a step up. Garnier built this line on the idea that your hair color could also care for your hair. The fruit oil positioning was not an accident. It was a deliberate marketing decision to occupy the space between a harsh chemical dye and something that felt natural. Women who read labels chose Nutrisse because it felt like it was already halfway to clean. Consumer Reports independently tested Garnier Nutrisse in their April 2026 hair dye investigation and found DEHP inside it. DEHP is a phthalate that Consumer Reports has previously linked to insulin resistance, high blood pressure, early menopause, and reproductive issues. Garnier Nutrisse is one of only 4 products in the 23 product study where DEHP was detected. The EWG Skin Deep database entry for Garnier Nutrisse confirms the presence of resorcinol, p-phenylenediamine, ammonium hydroxide, and undisclosed fragrance in the same formula the front of the box calls nourishing. Looks like a natural choice. Reads like one of 4 products in the study with a phthalate linked to early menopause. Garnier Nutrisse is a L'Oreal subsidiary. The fruit oil imagery is a marketing layer over a conventional permanent dye formula. Resorcinol is a known endocrine disruptor. The federal government limits resorcinol exposure in workplaces. There is no equivalent limit for the amount you apply directly to your scalp every 6 weeks. For the woman who chose Nutrisse because the fruit oils made it feel safer than the other boxes on the shelf, this is what you actually bought. DEHP, resorcinol, PPD, and undisclosed fragrance. Underneath the grapes, Garnier Olia is the least bad option in their range. It is oil-based and ammonia-free, which reduces fume exposure during application. It still contains resorcinol and undisclosed fragrance, so it is not clean. But if you are a Garnier user, Olia reduces some of the worst exposure points while you look for a better alternative. Fruit oils on the front, hormone-disrupting phthalate inside. The nourishing brand that needed a lab to tell the truth. The next brand markets itself as ammonia-free, which sounds like progress. Consumer Reports found it contained the second and third highest levels of a probable carcinogen of any product in the entire study. Avoid brand 5, Revlon Color Silk, $7, ammonia-free, silky proteins, 100% gray coverage. Revlon Color Silk is the affordable swap women make when they want to avoid the harsh stuff. The ammonia-free label feels like progress. Revlon has been in American bathrooms for decades. Color Silk specifically built its reputation on being the gentler option, accessible, affordable, and now, supposedly, cleaner. Consumer Reports found that Revlon Color Silk contained the second and third highest levels of methylene chloride of any product in their entire 23-brand investigation. Methylene chloride is a probable human carcinogen. It was present in every product tested. Revlon Color Silk sat near the top of that list. Mamavation's independent investigation also flagged Color Silk for ethanolamine chemicals, strong sensitizers, resorcinol, aminophenols, and undisclosed fragrance. Looks like the safe, affordable option. Reads like the second highest carcinogen levels in a 23-brand study. Read the first 5 ingredients: water, oleic acid, isopropyl alcohol, ethanolamine, PPD. Ethanolamine replaced the ammonia. The cuticle still gets forced open. PPD still penetrates the scalp. The probable carcinogens are still in the box. The label just changed. For the woman who switched to Color Silk because ammonia-free sounded like the responsible choice, this is what you actually bought. The second highest methylene chloride levels in the study. A gentler label over the same category of chemistry. Revlon Color Silk. Beautiful Color showed no detectable phthalates in Consumer Reports testing. If you are a current Color Silk user, that specific line is the least bad option in their range. The carcinogen issue is not resolved, but the phthalate exposure is lower. Ammonia-free label. Probable carcinogen inside. The packaging changed. The formula did not. The next brand charges a premium and wraps it in German precision. The independent investigation found the same sensitizer deck underneath. Avoid brand 6, Schwarzkopf Color Ultimum. The name sounds clinical, engineered. Schwarzkopf Color Ultimum sits above the drugstore tier in price and presentation. Keratin complex, anti-fade shield, intensive color care. It is the box women reach for when they want something that performs like a salon product without the salon price. Schwarzkopf has over a century of European heritage behind it. That positioning carries weight. German engineering as a beauty category has always implied precision and rigor. Women who spend more on this box do so because the branding signals something more considered than the standard shelf product. Consumer Reports lab testing found ammonia in Schwarzkopf Color Ultimum, naming it specifically among products with detected ammonia content. Mamavation's independent investigation found something more specific. Schwarzkopf Color Ultimum contains multiple strong sensitizers, including PTD, resorcinol analogs, and aminophenols, combined with dual alkalizers, both ammonia and ethanolamine simultaneously, and undisclosed fragrance. Schwarzkopf is owned by Henkel. Henkel is named as a defendant in the active U.S. hair dye bladder cancer litigation alongside L'Oreal and Clairol. Looks like a precision European formula. Reads like ammonia, dual alkalizers, 4 sensitizers, and a parent company in active litigation. Henkel acquired Schwarzkopf in 1995. The professional heritage is real. The safety record is the same litigation pool as every other brand on this list. For the woman who paid more because the name felt more rigorous, this is what you actually bought. Dual alkalizers, multiple sensitizers, undisclosed fragrance, and a parent company named in a bladder cancer lawsuit. Schwarzkopf Keratin Color is the least bad option in their range. It contains conditioning agents that reduce scalp contact time. The chemistry is not clean, but the formulation is less aggressive than Color Ultimum. Century of heritage. Same sensitizer deck. The price went up. The The formula did not improve. The next brand sells professional credibility. His name is now in a bladder cancer lawsuit. Avoid brand 7, John Paul Mitchell Systems. Walk into any salon in America and you will find it. Black and white packaging, clean lines. John Paul Mitchell Systems built its reputation on professional credibility. Women trust it because their stylist uses it, and stylists trust it because the whole brand was built by one of them. John Paul Mitchell co-founded the company in 1980 with $4,500 and a handshake. The brand became synonymous with professional quality. That story transferred trust directly to the formula. If your stylist uses it, it must be safe. John Paul Mitchell Systems is named as a defendant in the active U.S. hair dye bladder cancer litigation. A New York hairdresser filed a lawsuit in June 2025, naming Paul Mitchell among L'Oreal, Redken, and Clairol, alleging that decades of occupational exposure to their products caused her bladder cancer. The International Agency for Research on Cancer classifies occupational exposure to hair dyes as a probable carcinogen. Hairdressers using professional salon brands are the most frequently cited occupational group in the litigation. Looks like professional grade. Reads like a defendant in active bladder cancer litigation. Professional positioning is not a safety standard. It is a marketing category. The aromatic amines present in drugstore dyes are present in professional salon lines. The applicator changed. The chemistry did not. For the woman who paid salon prices because professional meant safer, this is what you actually bought. The same carcinogen class as every other brand on this list, with a black and white label and a founding story attached. Paul Mitchell. Tea tree special color is the least harsh option in their range. The tea tree formulation reduces scalp irritation during application. The litigation concerns apply to the full professional color line regardless. Professional label, same chemistry. The story was real. The safety claim never was. Go check your bathroom cabinet right now. If any of these 7 brands are under your sink, you now know what is inside them. Avoid brand 8, Garnier Olia. It sits right next to Nutrisse on the shelf, but it has a different promise. No ammonia, oil-powered, up to 3 times shinier. Garnier Olia is the line women graduate to when they want to feel like they made the responsible upgrade within a brand they already trust. Garnier launched Olia on a specific thesis: oil as the delivery system instead of ammonia. 60% oil formula. The campaign showed women with luminous, healthy hair. It felt like the brand finally listened. Garnier Olia still contains resorcinol and toluene 2,No,5-diamine, both confirmed in its published ingredient list. Resorcinol is a known endocrine disruptor linked to thyroid disruption. Toluene 2,5-diamine is classified as an allergen and skin and immune system toxicant with evidence linking it to inflammation. Garnier is a L'Oreal subsidiary. L'Oreal topped Consumer Reports' methylene chloride rankings across their product range in the April 2026 investigation. The ammonia-free claim on Olia is accurate. The clean claim is not. Looks like the responsible upgrade. Reads like resorcinol, a thyroid disruptor, and a sensitizing colorant in an ammonia-free wrapper. Ammonia-free does not mean toxin-free. It means one alkalizer was swapped. The endocrine disruptors remained. The undisclosed fragrance remained. The probable carcinogen class remained. For the woman who upgraded to Olia because oil-powered felt like the cleaner choice within a brand she already knew, this is what you actually bought: resorcinol and toluene on your scalp without the ammonia smell to warn you. Because Olia is oil-based, it penetrates faster and requires less processing time. Reducing application time lowers overall scalp exposure. If you are mid-transition to a cleaner brand, shorter contact time is a meaningful harm reduction step. Ammonia removed. Endocrine disruptors kept. The upgrade was cosmetic. The next brand is the one that built its entire identity on being free of the worst offenders. Then, a Consumer Reports investigation found something unexpected inside it too. Avoid brand 9, Revlon Color Silk Digitones. It is the box aimed at a younger buyer. Vivid shades, fashion-forward names. Revlon Color Silk. Digitones sits in the semi-permanent category and markets itself at women who want expressive color without the full chemical commitment of permanent dye. Semi-permanent built the trust here. No peroxide, no bleaching. The assumption is that less permanence means less chemistry. Younger buyers especially operate on that assumption. If it washes out, it cannot be that serious. Consumer Reports tested Revlon Color Silk Digitones as part of their April 2026 investigation into 23 at-home hair dye products. The study found methylene chloride, a probable human carcinogen, across the entire Revlon Color Silk range. Mamavation's investigation flagged the broader Color Silk line for ethanolamine chemicals, strong sensitizers, resorcinol, and undisclosed fragrance. Semi-permanent does not mean the formula skips sensitizing chemistry. It means the dye coats rather than fully penetrates. The chemicals still touch the scalp. Fumes are still inhaled during application. Looks like a low-commitment fashion choice. Reads like the same carcinogen class as permanent dye in a trend-driven package. The semi-permanent category has no mandatory safety threshold, distinct from permanent dye in U.S. regulation. Brands are not required to prove reduced risk. They are only required to list ingredients, and even then, fragrance is exempt. For the younger buyer who chose semi-permanent because it felt lower stakes than a box of permanent color, this is what you actually bought: sensitizing chemistry, probable carcinogens, and undisclosed fragrance. In a shade called Silver Blue, Arctic Fox is the clean alternative in this exact category. Semi-permanent vivid shades, free of ammonia, peroxide, and PPD. Same creative positioning, cleaner formula, lower commitment, same chemistry class. The shade name changed. The sensitizers did not. The next brand spent years telling women it eliminated the worst offenders. The independent lab told a different story. Avoid brand 10, Madison Reed. This one is harder to write. Madison Reed built its entire identity on being the brand that fixed what the others refused to fix. No ammonia, no PPD, no resorcinol, no parabens, no phthalates. The 6-free formula became their founding promise. Madison Reed launched with a specific founding thesis: women deserve professional color without the toxic ingredient deck. The brand felt like the answer to every other brand on this list. It was recommended by dermatologists. It was Leaping Bunny certified. It felt like the investigation was over. Consumer Reports tested Madison Reed as part of their April 2026 investigation. They found 3 phthalates in Madison Reed, including the highest levels of di2-ethylhexyl, adipate phthalate, and di2-ethylhexyl terephthalate phthalate of any product in the entire study. Madison Reed's own marketing lists phthalate-free as a core brand claim. The independent lab contradicted that claim directly. Looks like the clean brand that solved the problem. Reads like the highest phthalate levels of 23 products tested. Madison Reed replaced PPD with PTD, resorcinol with 2-methylresorcinol, and ammonia with ethanolamine. Those are meaningful substitutions. They also did not prevent the phthalate finding. The brand's phthalate-free claim is a formulation claim. It applies to intentionally added phthalates. The lab found them anyway. For the woman who switched to Madison Reed specifically to escape the ingredient problems of every other brand on this list, this is what you actually bought: the highest detected phthalate levels in the study. From the brand whose label said phthalate-free, Madison Reed, Color Reviving Gloss contains no colorant chemistry at all. No PTD, no alkalizers, no sensitizers. If you want the brand's conditioning benefits without the dye exposure, the gloss is genuinely clean. Cleaner label, highest phthalate reading in the study. The brand that was supposed to be different. Okay, stop for a second. You just sat through 10 brands, and underneath all of them, the same playbook ran. A brand builds trust. The marketing scales up. The safety scrutiny does not. A lab finds what the label never mentioned: no recall, no reformulation, still on the shelf. That is not 10 separate stories. That is one story told 10 times. 3 exceptions exist. Here they are. Safe pick 1. Madison Reed Color Reviving Gloss. Where others sell a cleaner label over the same chemistry, this sells a formula with no colorant chemistry at all. Madison Reed launched in 2013 to give women professional color without the toxic ingredient deck. Their Color Reviving Gloss contains no PTD, no alkalizers, no sensitizers, and no undisclosed fragrance. Leaping Bunny certified. Dermatologist-supervised clinical testing confirmed it was non-damaging to hair and scalp when used as directed. Madison Reed Permanent Color showed the highest phthalate levels in Consumer Reports testing. This recommendation applies to the gloss only, not the permanent line, around $30. Available at Ulta, Target, and MadisonReed.com. The next brand skips the permanent dye system entirely. Safe pick 2. Arctic Fox. Where others sell an ammonia-free label over a sensitizer deck, this sells no ammonia, no peroxide, and no PPD, with a clean ingredient list and no flagged findings in independent testing. Founded in 2014 by Kristen Leanne, after she could not find a vivid color brand without chemistry she did not want on her scalp. Arctic Fox has not appeared in Consumer Reports or Momavation investigations for the carcinogen classes found across the Avoid brands. Vegan and cruelty-free with third-party verification. Semi-permanent only. Will not cover gray on natural uncolored hair. Works best on pre-lightened hair, around $11. Available at Ulta, Sally Beauty, and ArcticFoxHairColor.com. The next brand removes the dye step entirely. Safe Pick 3, Overtone. Where others sell color through chemical penetration, this sells color through conditioning. No alkalizers, no oxidants, no aromatic amines. Founded in 2014 by Maricela Yip and Leora Wright to maintain vivid color without oxidative chemistry. Overtone deposits pigment on the hair surface rather than forcing it through the scalp. No hydrogen peroxide, no alkalizer, none of the chemical pathways that connect the Avoid brands to the NIH sister study findings and the active bladder cancer litigation. Will not change your base color or cover gray on natural hair. A maintenance tool only, not a starting point. Around $30 per kit. Available at Ulta, Target, and Overtone.com. You just sat through 10 brands. Active bladder cancer litigation. A probable carcinogen in every product tested. Benzene in a children's product. A phthalate linked to early menopause inside the box, marketed with fruit oils. The FDA pulled nothing. No recalls. The brands are still on shelves. That is not an oversight. It is the model. Manufacturers are not required to prove safety before selling. Fragrance on a label can hide dozens of undisclosed compounds with no legal consequence. Walk into your bathroom tomorrow morning. Pick up your hair dye. Read the first 5 ingredients. If you see p-phenylenediamine, resorcinol, or ammonium hydroxide, you are holding a formula linked to bladder cancer in occupational studies and active litigation against the brands that make it. Tell me in the comments which brand you have been using the longest. If someone you know is still reaching for the same box their mother used because familiar feels safe, send this to them. The system is not broken. It is working exactly the way it was built to work. You were never supposed to find out what was in the box. Stay sharp, read those labels, keep rising.